Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of Careers and Coffee. So today I'm absolutely thrilled to be welcoming two colleagues from the RAF to talk to us a little bit more about their roles, their pathways into them as well, and some of the skills that you need to work in the RAF. So let's welcome Eden and Josh on to talk to us a little bit more.
Hiya.
Welcome folks, how are we doing?
Hiya. Good, thank you. How are you?
Life is good, sun shining. This is what we like. Now, before we kick off with, put you on the spot, have you got coffee? Careers and coffee.
Oh, I've got some water.
Got water. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a beverage. We'll let that one slide. That's all right. Now, why don't we kick off with, tell me a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and let's head over to Eden to begin with.
So I'm Eden. I work as an ASOS in the RAF, so that's an Airfield Operations specialist. Sounds quite technical, but it's actually not too difficult. So I'm at Marham at the moment. Basically, I work in air traffic control. My role is basically to help assist controllers in when they control aircraft. So I help with things like weather. You know, when every hour we update the weather for them, so the aircraft get the correct weather for their flying. We help control the vehicles around the airfield to ensure that they're all safe and they're transiting around the airfield in a safe manner. We also check. We have a position also where we check the gears in the aircraft to make sure that they're safe. So we check that in the runway caravan at the end of the runway as well. So it's a big white and red caravan-looking thing, and we sit in there and just make sure the aircraft are safe on last-look checks when they approach the airfield. So, yeah.
That sounds really interesting. Thank you. And Josh, what about yourself?
Yep, so I'm Josh. I'm an SAC, again at RAF Marham, and I'm a logistics supply and storage distribution specialist. It's a long title. Before it was known as logistics supplier, more simple. But essentially, as you know, working in logistics, I deal with, say, issuing kit out, so like aircraft spares. And me personally, I work in a customs warehouse. So what I'm responsible for is bringing back unserviceable kit to be repaired. So say if you have a piece of life kit, a serial numbered item, that sort of breaks on an aircraft, I'll sort of like manage bringing that back in so then we can forward it on. Yeah, so
that's
nice
brilliant.
and busy.
Thank you. And Josh, tell me a little bit more about sort of your pathway into the role. Did you know you always wanted to go into the RAF? Was it something that sort of came a little bit later? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, since I was at high school, I've always sort of known that I wanted to join the military, though there was always some sort of discrepancy on, what branch I wanted to join. So at one point, I remember, distinctly wanting to join the army around 15. I sort of always said to my teachers and, my parents, sign me up, let me go. But as it sort of went on, I discovered that I had some history with the RAF. So my granddaddy was a navigator. So after looking into that a bit more with my family, I sort of realised that, I think the Air Force is where I want to go instead of the army. So yeah, I've always wanted to serve. So.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Josh. And Eden, what about yourself? Same question to you. Was it something you always wanted to do? And what was your pathway in?
It has pretty much been something I've always wanted to do. When I was younger, I was an air cadet. I actually met my best friend through Air Cadets, who's also in the RAF now. So she actually joined up a few months before me, which I was in college at the time. And I just thought, no, I'm just going to go for it. So I was a few months behind her, but she definitely helped me in that sort of pathway. We met there, had a great friendship. She joined up, and I thought, no, I want that as well. So yeah, I joined up and went for it.
That's fantastic. And so what were you both doing beforehand? Were you studying? Were you working? What was happening before RAF? Who wants to take that? Let's go to Eden.
So I was working in Waitrose whilst being at college as well. So I was doing part-time job in Waitrose and doing a level 3 BTEC at college. But I ended up just joining straight away. I didn't even finish college, to be honest. I just joined up and just went for it. And luckily enough, it happened.
Good stuff. Thank you. And Josh, what about yourself?
So before I joined, around 18, I was doing A-levels at school after doing my GCSEs. So I studied some nice boring things such as philosophy. So after that, I sort of went down to the AFCO, the Armed Forces Career Centre, and applied there as a loggie. And they said it'd take about a year. So what I did in the meantime was I got myself a little job at shop. It's just a one-stop, Tesco one-stop. I thought I'd just stay there for a while, save a bit of money. Then yeah, slowly enough, a year rolled round, and now here we are.
That's brilliant. Thank you both. And since joining, what are some of the skills that you use day to day at work? And I'm going to go to Josh on that one.
See, there's quite a lot of skills because it varies a lot. So before I joined, I'd never, got involved with, logistics work. So, you move things around in a warehouse using palletizers. A lot of people do driving forklifts. I had no experience with that. So as I've come in my day to day, I'm using palletizers to move things around, big heavy pieces of kit. Down to confidence as well. I was quite shy before I joined. So even those skills that have come to me, I'm able to do things like this now, without any issue. So yeah, there's plenty of things, you can do and learn to do.
That's brilliant. I was going to say, now you're live on YouTube, you can't
Yeah, it's going on.
we could be viral in about 20 minutes. Eden, same to yourself. In terms of, what's your thoughts on that?
So for me, communication is a big one, just with how much we have to communicate with various different people on the airfield all the time. But like Josh, my confidence, I've always been quite shy. So this job has helped me develop that communication skill that I've needed in order to boost not just my confidence, but obviously my communication skills as well. I speak to random various people on the phone numerous times a day, and it doesn't bother me now. So yeah, the communication and confidence is definitely a big thing for me.
Brilliant, thank you. And we just got a question in. So, how did your friends and family react when they found out that you wanted to join the forces? I'm going to stay with you on that one, Eden.
So my mum and dad were absolutely so excited. They were so supportive. I didn't have anyone. They weren't worried or anything like that. They sort of knew I wanted to do it anyway. So when I told them I'd applied, I sort of done it without my mum knowing, and I just sort of said, "Oh, I've applied, by the way." She was absolutely over the moon. So yeah, they were all overjoyed, really.
That's brilliant. And Josh, what about yourself?
Yeah, my family were pretty much the same, happy, supportive, plenty of opportunities. I mean, my AFCO was in Birmingham as well, so one of my parents worked in Birmingham. So back and forth, I'd travel on the train with them. Yeah, they loved it. Plenty of opportunities for me, so they were happy.
That's fantastic to hear. Thank you both. And another question. So, what is one of your favourite things about being part of the RAF? Josh, I'll stick with you on that one.
You see, recently I've started running quite a lot. So, I do running pretty much every other day. And in my workplace, 3 times a week, they let me go out in work time to go for runs. So, I'm skipping out on work and they're letting me do the things I want to do. So, I really appreciate that. That's probably one of my favourite things.
That's brilliant. And Eden, what about yourself?
So I'm literally the exact same as you, Josh. So I went away last year on deployment, got really into my running. So now I'm literally running all the time, fitness all the time. But one of the best things is being able to go away. I've met so many amazing people just for being away for a few months. I'm still in contact with them now. It felt like I've known them for years. So it is really nice how you can just meet people, click instantly, and just stay in contact for such a long time.
That sounds brilliant. Being able to go for sort of runs, in work time is brilliant. I mean, I personally can run a bath. Next question. So, what are the highlights with the lifestyle and community within the RAF? Eden, go to you on that one.
So the lifestyle's really good. So I live in the blocks on camp. Everyone's so friendly, and it's I can't really compare it to uni. Josh might be able to help with A levels and stuff, but I've not been to uni. So, but everyone's really nice. Get no problems with the lifestyle. I like my room, so it suits me. The community, everyone just seems to, I feel like it's easier to get to know people because you're all in the RAF or the military. It's easier, you sort of have that, you're on that level and you can just get to know people a lot quicker, if that makes sense. Yeah, you just feel like you've known people for years rather than months or weeks, but yeah, you do seem to grow closer to people quicker, I feel.
Brilliant. And Josh, what about yourself on that?
Yeah, well, I live in the block as well, so lifestyle's good. I can sort of run my own show, and it's nice and cheap. So, I mean, that's a bonus. And then yeah, people I've met, I've got mates now, where I work in the warehouse who, 6 months ago I didn't even know, and we'll go out now. Sort of, yeah, it's just close knit people in work. Get on with them all because you're all on the same page, as you said. So you've all gone through the same training, all this and that. You've got that mutual respect. So yeah,
Brilliant.
it doesn't matter where they've come from, you've come from. You're all in it together.
Excellent. Thank you both. And another question. So, did you make new friends in the RAF, and are you like a family? Who wants to take that?
I don't mind. I can do it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Over to you, Josh.
definitely make new friends. As I said, I've sort of made countless now, and yeah, they're pretty much like family to me as well. I travel back and forth with a mate. So I've got a close mate who I met not even that long ago. We'll taxi each other around the country because he lives up north. So on the weekend or whatever, we'll ferry each other up and down, do each other favors, anything like that. So yeah, you do make good friends.
Brilliant. And Eden, similar for you?
Yeah, very similar. So I'm really close with everyone I work with here, but also I've had friends that have been here and they've now been posted away. So we still ring each other every week. That these people are like really close to me. I've only been in the RAF for about 4.5 years. So to have people that I'm really close with still keeping in touch with is quite nice.
That's brilliant. Thank you both. And another question. So, what was the process involved in joining the RAF? Eden, can I stick with you on that?
Yeah, so I basically got in contact with the AFCO, which is we go to apply. You can basically you go there, you sort of you can sort of look at see what trades are available, or if you've got one in mind, you can sort of go there and say you want to apply and join up as say an ASOS like I am. So you go through various different tests of different knowledge questions, interviews, just so they can test your knowledge on the RAF and the military, see what background knowledge you know. And it's basically things like your fitness test. You have a fitness test before you go in. Your medical, just to make sure you're medically fit enough to join. And yeah, it's just a couple of interviews. I found the process really, really good actually. My medical slowed me down a little bit, but that's the only thing that slowed me down. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the whole process of joining up, and it took me a year to join and actually get started. So yeah.
Brilliant. And Josh, I assume it's a similar case for yourself?
Yeah, very similar to be honest. As I said, mine was in Birmingham. I live in, Warwick, so I'd catch a train down. You have a unofficial chat as you first, and then you'll sit an aptitude test, which is just some, maths questions, English, basic knowledge sort of stuff. And then after that, you go for, another formal interview, which basically just tests that, you are interested in joining, that you've done your research on the Air Force in general. And then yeah, it's fitness test, medical, and then on your way. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you both. And another question. So, when you first joined, how did you feel? Josh, stick with you on that.
It's a little bit, I don't know, it depends, because if you're asking of when I first applied, then yeah, I was sort of, thrilled, happy, raring to go. And then I remember when I turned up to Holton, I was lugging my ironing board up the stairs thinking, oh God, what have I done? But yeah, a couple of days, and then you're like, you know what, yeah, this is good. But yeah, there's some nerves, but yeah, you get over it.
And Eden, what about yourself?
I still remember to this day how I felt arriving at Holton. I was so nervous. I was like, oh no. Like Josh said, though, it's quite daunting. But as soon as you get settled in, you realise everyone's in the same boat as you. You're literally all feeling the same. So it's really, you come out of that feeling really quick, and it's actually really nice.
But I think that's really good to hear. I think for any young people who are considering it, I think that's something that you're going to be nervous about, and you're going to get that in any role. But I feel like even more so in terms of a role at RAF. Another question is, so what's the most exciting thing that you've done in the RAF? Eden, go to you for that.
So a couple of years ago, I actually was able to do a skydive by raising some money for the RAF Benevolent Fund. So I raised just over £200, and we went skydiving for the day, and it was amazing. Obviously, I've never done anything like that before, and I don't think I would have ever come across, and I wouldn't have been able to do it. I was too scared. But yeah, if it wasn't, I went with one of my friends. We raised loads of money. We went with a big group of us as well. We didn't know anyone within the group, but we ended up making friends because they're all from Marham as well. So yeah, we all went skydiving together by raising some money for the RF Benevolent Fund. So that was definitely one of the highlights for me.
That's brilliant. And Josh, highlights for yourself?
You blew me out of the water with that one. Yeah. Well, I remember during my phase 1 training, there was AT, like adventure training. down in Crickhole in Wales, and they put you through a load of activities there. And what I quite enjoyed was caving. So, we went through these series of caves as a group. And at the end, there was this thing called a keyhole. So as you sort of go further down, like through this cave to get outside, it gets narrower and narrower. So everyone's sort of trying to squeeze through this cave, and we're just having a right laugh seeing some of the people trying to get through. So yeah, that was good fun.
Blimey. Next question. So how old were you when you joined?
So I was 19 when I joined up. So I'm 24 now. So this is my 5th year in. So yeah.
And Josh, what about yourself?
Yep. I was 19 as well, and yeah, 21 now. So
God, that's a quick question. Awesome. Okay, on to the next one. So it sounds as though fitness is a big part of the RAF. What advice would you give to someone to improve their fitness before they join? Eden, go to you for that.
So what I did, I basically gym membership, and I just practiced running. I wasn't really into my fitness, to be completely honest with you, before I joined up, but I knew I needed to get to that standard in order to join up. So it was just a lot of practice in the gym, really, and running isn't something that a lot of people enjoy, because some people find it quite boring. But the more you do it, the more you enjoy it. So I love running now. Like I love it as a hobby. So it's just practice. I mean, I literally just trained in the gym 3 times a week just to get that stamina up that I needed in order to pass the fitness test to a certain standard. And yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. And Josh, what about yourself?
Yeah, it really is that simple, to be fair. You need to do a few press ups and sit-ups, so you can do those in your room. Just look up the required standard. And then for running, I know it's can be a bit of a chore for some people, but I try to get out 3 times a week. Just go for a 1.5 mile run, know your time, and then just keep pushing yourself to try to get that.
Get knackered driving that. Okay, next one. So is there the opportunity to travel with the RAF? Josh, stick with you on that.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to travel. I've been up and down the country quite a few times, and recently one of my friends in the customs warehouse, he recently went down to Queen Elizabeth, because recently that's gone out, hasn't it, on operational tour. So he's had travel for that. I've got mates as well who went on Operation Rescript, so COVID testing. They've been up and down the country everywhere. There was a guy in Southampton, he said he was there for a while. So yeah, plenty of opportunity. Can go abroad as well, as Eden's done, I'm sure. So yeah.
A good segue into Eden there. Eden, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I went away to the Middle East last year for 4 months, and I loved every minute of it. I was absolutely nervous as hell before I went, but as soon as I met a few people, we had to isolate out there, obviously, because of COVID. So that gave us a great chance to get to know some people that we were working with, having to isolate obviously all together. So yeah, I travelled there. My other half's also been to Cyprus 3 times as well, so he's loved every minute of it as well since he went there. So plenty of opportunities to travel all around the world.
Sounds brilliant. Thank you. And another question. So what did you need for GCSEs? Who wants to take that? Josh?
Yeah, can do. So for my trade, and I don't know if it's the same for yours, Eden, I think you need maths and English, and I think that's about it. But there is other trades that do vary. So I know for quite a few you do need so you need your maths, your English, and then I think it's 5 different ones, so 5 in total, including maths and English, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a minimum bar of just maths and English, I believe. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you both. And another question. Okay, right. Look, these are coming in quick. Okay, so have you ever been in an experience where you thought you might not make it back home? Go to Eden on that one.
As in back home to see my family?
Yeah, I'll assume that one.
So not really. I mean, I'm a few years away from my mum and dad. They live in High Wycombe, and obviously I'm in Marham. It's a few hours. I've never really worried about it because I can drive. I'm lucky enough here as well to have many weekends free as well. So Fridays obviously before COVID, used to go home, see them for the weekend, and come back on a Sunday. So I used to see mum and dad a lot. So it's actually not too bad. It's not as bad as you think either. You do join up thinking, oh God, I'm never going to see them again, but you do to see them a lot more than you would think.
Brilliant, thank you. And as we're coming up to 20 minutes, but one last question for you both. So, you're in the sort of the start of your career with the RAF. What does a future progression look like for both of you? Where do you want to sort of end up? Is it within the RAF forces, or is it sort of a stepping stone? Gonna go to Eden to begin with on that, and then on to Josh.
So at the moment, my plan is to stay in for as long as I can, really. I'm going to work my way up through the ranks as much as I can and just enjoy it as I go. I haven't got any plans to leave, so I'd quite like to stay in for a good few years, if I'm honest. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And Josh?
Yeah, I'm happy where I am at the moment. So I've only been in, just over a year, signed for a 12-year contract. So plenty of time to go on that, plenty of opportunities as well. I mean, in work, I'd quite like to end up working with fuels. So you can work with explosives, fuels and logistics. So yeah, plenty of opportunity, plenty of time to do it as well.
That sounds fantastic. Both of you, thank you so much for coming on Careers and Coffee today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you.
So folks, that was Eden and Josh from the RAF talking to us about their really, really interesting roles, future progression, the skills you need, pathways in. I've learned so much on that one. I hope everyone else has as well. Obviously, tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays. New time, 4:30 to 4:50 for 20 minutes. Learn from some amazing people. Looking forward to seeing you in the week. Thanks.